Well, good morning. My name is Kevin Hunt. I'm with the Department of Veteran Services. I'm the veteran agent here in Newburyport, and I'm gathering with you about a half an hour before our ceremony. We're going to have a nice ceremony today. We've got a beautiful day here in Newburyport. We're going to gather up here in front of City Hall and we'll pay testament to those living veterans. Today is going to be in about 25 minutes, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the 102nd anniversary of Armistice Day, a treaty signed in Marseille, France. And now Armistice Day is called Veterans Day. And if you are not able to get here, you can join us in Memorial Day. We'd love to see you then.
Hey there, everyone. This is Senator Diana DiZoglio. It's great to be here in the wonderful city of Newburyport on Veterans Day, honoring those who have served our country to protect our freedoms. I want to say a big thank you to all of those who have served and to their families for allowing them to serve all of us and giving up so much of your time for families in our communities to have the freedoms we have. Once again, thank you so much. It's a beautiful day. The community's out here. It's great to see everybody coming together to honor our veterans, and hope everybody has a great day today. Thanks so much.
Yeah, so today we're gonna honor the veterans, and we're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think we're gonna help with the wreaths down at the cemetery. Put them by the graves on the cemetery. There's a big grave over there. Yeah, thank you for your service. Thank you, really.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here on Veterans Day, here with my daughter, Anya, who's a 7th grader. And whatever we could do to remember our past, to continue supporting whatever's happening in the present and moving together in the future in a way to just support and honor our country and just the goodwill that we could do across our community.
I served 30 years in the National Guard of both Wisconsin and Massachusetts when I moved here, serving in Army bands in that capacity. I'm Steve Cohen. I'm the band director and orchestra director at Newburyport High School, and I'm here with the Newburyport High School Band, or you're seeing some of them, I guess. We're here for the Veterans Day ceremony. We do this every year along with Memorial Day, and we'll be playing some music in place here at City Hall, and then we'll do a parade over to the cemetery where we'll do Amazing Grace and taps. Well, we've been practicing since school began, so parts of 4 months now, and music is always in our repertoire, so it's always something that we're able to play at any time.
Welcome to Newburyport on Veterans Day, the 11th hour of the 11th day, formerly known as Armistice Day, and that armistice is 102 years old today. It was a treaty that ended what was called the Great War, or World War I, the Treaty of Versailles in France. My name is Kevin Hunt. I am the veteran agent for the city of Newburyport, and I thought you would like to know that there are only 14 days till Thanksgiving and 44 days till Christmas. Some days are getting closer. This is absolutely beautiful weather. We've had beautiful weather this week. I am now a climate denier. I think this has been marvelous, all this hot weather that we've had. I would ask that Captain John Eric Burkholt from the Salvation Army please come up here and join us, and he will deliver the invocation. Captain Burkholt.
Good morning. My family and I just moved here since June, and one day I was walking up State Street, I saw a plaque, and I love history. My family is like, "Oh, John, don't stop." But I love history, and I'm sure you all know the names on the plaque were answering the call from President Lincoln to help defend the capital in the early days of the Civil War. I stand here today because of men and women who answered that call. My uncle served in Vietnam. He was a first lieutenant. My grandfather was a Marine in World War II and fought in the Battle of Guadalcanal. On this day, we're here to say thank you. And the prayer this morning is from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renounces my strength. He guides me along right paths, brings honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. We are close beside you. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and the Lord in the house forever. Amen.
Please remain standing for the national anthem, performed by the Newburyport High School Marching Band under the direction of Sergeant Steve Cohen, former member of the Massachusetts National Guard. That's a good band. Thank you very much. I would now ask that some members of Troop 251 of the Boy Scouts please come up and join me here at the podium so that we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on right up over here.
My name is Christian Brown.
My name is Thomas Durati.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris and Tom, Troop 251, Boy Scouts, great group. I would like to introduce the host for today's activities, Mayor Donna Holliday, the Mayor of Newburyport.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us once again as we come together as a community to honor and celebrate our veterans. I would like to introduce our platform here, our Senator Diana DiZoglio, our State Rep, Jim Kelcourse, and members of our City Council are here today. We have Barry Connell, Councilor at Large, Heather Shan, our Ward 3 Councilor, Sharif Zeed, our Ward 1 Councilor, Joe Devlin, Councilor at Large, Afroz Khan, Councilor at Large, and Charlie Tontar, Councilor at Large. Thank you all for being here. I'd like to introduce our senator to offer a few remarks, Senator Diana DiZoglio.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is a good morning. It's a great morning, isn't it? Yes. So I actually have something very special this morning. It's actually going to be offered by a few friends of mine. I have some volunteers that I talked to out in the audience a couple of minutes ago. Can I call out my very special helpers this morning? Can we give them a round of applause? And I want to actually invite any children, any kids that are out there today, if you want to come up and join these very special helpers, you're all welcome to come up. So you can just jump down and run up here if you want to join. So, hey, thanks everyone. So, okay, I know we weren't necessarily clear on what's happening this morning, but as you know, we are here this morning to honor our veterans, right? And it's very important that the next generation carry on the message that we say thank you to those who have served to protect us and to keep us free. So, you are going to lead this community in making sure that we carry the message of thanking those who have served to the next generation. And we're gonna start right now on the count of 3. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, in the count of 3, in the biggest, loudest, welcome my friends. I like your suit, like your style there. In the biggest, loudest outdoor voice you have, get ready. On the count of 3, you're gonna look out there and you're gonna tell our veterans, thank you. Are you ready? You ready? All right, count with me. 1, 2, 3. Thank you! Thank you, veterans. We love you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Diana, and all of those loud voices thanking our veterans. We appreciate that. And now would you please welcome our state rep, Jim Kelkhorst.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Senator. Boy, that's a real tough act to follow. Whenever you get some kids up here at the on the steps and thanking our veterans, it's just really gives you goosebumps. It was over 100 years ago, as our VSO Kevin Hunt had indicated, that today, was recognized as Veterans Day, a very important day, not only throughout the country but here in Newburyport, because we recognize veterans for their service to this great nation. And we have many of those veterans out here today, and some of them I had the honor and pleasure of speaking with as I made my way up here today with the mayor and the senator and the city council. My young son is recently, said to my wife and I how much he really wants to get involved in service and perhaps even serve in the military, and maybe even go to West Point like one of my heroes, Derek Hines of Newburyport, where he went to school. And I know the Hines family is here today, and he wants to go there and serve his country and get an education. And he loves to read about history and the history of conflicts throughout the United States and around the world. And I just remind him that war is not to be celebrated. It's a very low point not only in our nation but throughout our world. It's the peace that the veterans restore as a result of the conflicts that we need to celebrate. And that's why we're here today, to thank all of you, our veterans, and not only even our veterans, but I want to recognize our police and our fire for the sacrifices that they make too, and these wonderful scouts that were just up here on these steps. So on this wonderful, beautiful Veterans Day, thank you all very much, and thank you for the privilege and the opportunity and the honor for me to serve as your state representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Kelkhorst. And now that has become a tradition, we will read the names of those veterans we have lost between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And when I read the veteran's name and branch of service, a bronze bell signifying that veteran's branch of service will be struck in honor of that veteran. Today, our bell ringers are Jay McCarthy, United States Air Force veteran, who will be ringing the Air Force bell. Kevin Hunt, United States Navy veteran, he will be ringing the Navy bell. Larry Sostek, United States Marine Corps veteran, will be ringing the Marine Corps bell. And Michael Carty, United States Army vet, will be ringing the Army bell. Robert Bob Halsey, United States Army. Bob was an Army veteran who served with the 548th Engineer Battalion and earned a combat patch in Operation Urgent Fury during the invasion of Grenada. He worked at SBS New England for more than 20 years and could work circles around anyone. He was also an accomplished carpenter and furniture maker. Ryan Childs, United States Air Force. Ryan graduated from Newburyport High School in 1987 and entered the Northern Essex Community College nursing program. He was also a member of the United States Air Force, and after his service with the Air Force, served people as an emergency department nurse in Minnesota and Iowa. Alfred D. Diana, United States Navy. Al was a proud veteran who served with the United States Navy during the Korean War. A self-made businessman, he ran his own company, Newburyport Door and Window, serving the local area with exceptional craftsmanship, reliability, and satisfaction for many years. James Jim Brogan, United States Navy. Following attendance at Newburyport High School, Jim joined the Navy at 17 years of age and retired after 20 years as Chief Petty Officer. He then worked for the town of Brookline as a health inspector for 18 years. He was a volunteer all his life, and his final days at the Armed Forces Retirement Home in Gulfport, Mississippi, he volunteered as a sponsor for new residents. E. Blake Hughes, United States Army. Blake was a longtime resident of Newburyport who served with the Army during the Battle of the Bulge in World War II and re-enlisted after that to serve during the Korean War. For many years, Blake and his wife, Ruth, ran the Newburyport Printmaker Company, and his artwork became recognized throughout the world. With their wonderfully melodic voices, Blake and Ruth also sang with the Newburyport Choral Society for 20 years. Richard A. Canale Sr., United States Army. Richard was a proud veteran of the Vietnam era, serving on active duty with the Army from 1962 till 1964, and then serving an additional 4 years with the Army Reserves. He retired as a bus driver, having had a lifelong career with the Worcester Regional Transit Authority. George Benedict Martin, United States Air Force. George is a retired Delta airline pilot who graduated from Newburyport High School in 1971, entered the Air Force Academy in Colorado, and after graduating spent 10 years as an officer in the Air Force flying fighter jets. He later spent 34 years as a pilot for Delta flying Boeing jets to major cities around the world. Robert James Mannix, United States Army. Bob was a lifelong resident of Newburyport who graduated from Immaculate Conception School and graduated from Leicester College. He joined the Army in 1965 at the start of the Vietnam War and had the good fortune to be stationed in Hawaii as a medic until his discharge. He was a retired Massachusetts state trooper and an inspector for the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Robert V. Pace Sr., United States Navy. Bob grew up in Newburyport, graduated from Northeastern College, and joined the Navy for 3 years as a supply officer. After the Navy, he became a CPA and worked with Arthur Young and eventually retired from Goodwin Law Firm after 30 years of service as their chief financial officer. He was a Little League coach, team supporter, and devoted to his children and grandchildren. Gerald F. Dugan, United States Army. Jerry was born and raised in Newburyport. He graduated from Newburyport High School and the University of New Hampshire. In college, he earned a fixed-wing pilot's license in the ROTC program and then went on to one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, a medevac helicopter pilot in Vietnam. He taught flight training in the Army and eventually spent the rest of his career in the medical divisions of the plastics industry. Paul James Matthews, United States Army. Paul was raised in Newburyport and graduated from Newburyport High School. He was inducted into the Army in 1944 and served our country, earning a Purple Heart for a bullet wound to his leg that he carried with him for the rest of his life. He also earned 2 Bronze Battle Stars for combat. Paul was employed as a program designer at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard until his retirement. Joseph Damon Pignato, United States Army. After completing his military service with the Army, Joe attained a Master's in English Literature from Boston University and his teaching certification at Salem State. In his early years, he was a culinary instructor at Whittier Tech before opening 8 restaurants over 5 decades, most notably Joseph's Rye on the Rocks and Joe's Winter Street Cafe. An avid sailor, he was the founding Commodore of the Newburyport Yacht Club. Richard Harlow Dick Daly, United States Air Force. Before moving to Newburyport in 2004, Dick served with the Air Force as a pilot flying KC-97, refueling planes during the Korean conflict. He spent the early part of his adult life in Framingham, where he worked as a radar engineer for Raytheon. It was there he restored the Thomas Nixon House, which was featured on HGTV's If Walls Could Talk. He was an active community member in Newburyport before retiring to the Atria Senior Living. Alan Page Weeks, United States Air Force. Alan graduated from Dartmouth College and joined the Air Force as a second lieutenant. An accomplished skier, he was asked to join the Air Force's competitive ski program. He was editor of the Boston University Law Review, graduating in 1969, and he was employed by major law firms in Washington, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. He retired in 2010 and completed a couple of marathons after retirement, all much to his own surprise. Ernest G. Merrill, United States Army. Ernie graduated from Newburyport High School and joined the Army, spending most of his tour at Fort Dix in New Jersey. He enjoyed working out in his yard and talking to people. He also liked going fishing and was known to tell a tall tale from time to time. He had a passion for 1950 cars, especially the classic Mercury driven by James Dean in the movie Rebel Without a Cause. Jeffrey R. Philkrantz, United States Air Force. Jeff graduated from Newburyport High School and eventually obtained a degree in physics and astronomy at UMass. He then joined the Air Force and was an intelligence analyst in Japan while also starting a band. He taught himself to play the drums and was part of Newburyport's music scene in the early 70s, playing with Paul McNeil's band, Crow's Feet, and also with other notable musicians. He was also a published cartoonist and an avid softball player and a Finnish carpenter. Nicholas M. Makos, United States Army. Nick was born in Newburyport, attended Newburyport High School, and served in the Army during the Korean War. He was a member of the Sheet Metals Union Local 17 for more than 50 years and worked for Charles B. Bluen in Boston for 45 years. Donald Paul DeBow, United States Army Reserves. Don lived for 40 years at 50 Prospect Street and could often be seen on his front steps making conversations with anyone walking by. He made some lifelong friends that way. In spite of suffering from rheumatoid arthritis from the time he was 40, he repainted his home by climbing an extension ladder to all but the peaks of his 3-story house. Charles A. Carroll, Massachusetts Army National Guard. Chuck was born in Newburyport, joined the National Guard, and served for 6 years as a musician with the 26th Yankee Division Band. Besides devoting time to the Triton Marching Band, Chuck had a lifelong love of aviation and got his pilot's license on his 17th birthday, the earliest age one can qualify. He enjoyed taking friends and family on foliage flights throughout the Northeast. He was gently and generous man with a radiant smile. Kenneth C. Colby, United States Navy. Kenneth served in the Navy as a torpedo man's mate aboard submarines during the Korean War. He worked at the Electric Boat Division of General Dynamics in Groton, Connecticut, and also at the MITRE Corporation. Kenneth was first and foremost a strong, godly leader who loved the Lord with all his heart and soul. Harry Edward Hugga Clark, United States Marine Corps. After 4 years with the Marines, Harry joined the Salisbury Police Department and served with them for 26 years. One of his big accomplishments was working as a drug enforcement detective on the New England Drug Task Force along with local, state, and federal authorities. He was also a member of the Salisbury Fire Department, the Salisbury Planning Board, and School Committee. Harold Hal Parno, United States Army. After graduating from Lynn Trade School, Hal joined the Army before starting his career and raising his family in Salisbury and Newburyport. He worked in aerospace for over 40 years and was passionate about technology and fixing anything broken. He loved what he did for a living and made lifelong friendships with his co-workers. My apologies to anyone we may have missed, and I ask that you reach out to our Veteran Services Officer, Kevin Hunt, to include your family member's name in our next celebration on Memorial Day. As I pass the phone to our Veteran Services Officer, I just wanted to extend my sincerest thanks to all our veterans and their families for their services over many years. I would also like to extend my sincerest thanks to our veteran service officers in our greater community and all the organizations that work so hard to support our vets. It's been an honor to serve as the mayor of the city of Newburyport and be your MC for the past 12 years at these wonderful events celebrating our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Holloway. I've been doing this a little event for 14 years. I came on board in 2007. Mayor John Moak was the mayor. And Mayor Moak, at the time I did my first one, couldn't wait to get away from the microphone. So when Mayor Holliday came on board, I never told you this, Mayor Holliday came on board and I thought that she too would be like Mayor Moak and would not want to, well, she took that microphone away from me so fast, and for good reason. Across from you back there is a flagpole. That's the Gaydon Morrill flagpole. It crowns that new area. Many thanks to Gordy Vinning from the Planning Department of Newburyport Planning Office for designing that beautiful area back there. Gaydon Morrill a little bit of history. Back in the 1930s, he was the mayor of Newburyport during the Depression. And he used his own money, it was about $325,000, to build a high school that we see now up on High Street. Gaydon Memorial, there is still a foundation that supports many of the activities here. On that flagpole is a special flag. It has 2 gold stars on it. Those gold stars represent 2 individuals from our community who have given their lives in the armed services. That's Derek Hines, Newburyport, Jordan Shea, Newburyport, and Amesbury. Also, that flag really does represent all of the members of the community who have given their lives. About 5 years ago, we launched a special project out here, and if you want to remember a veteran, living or dead, you can buy a brick, and the brick is installed. You can see them now, they're all over there now, remembering that veteran. Any extra money from the sale of the brick is used to restore monuments here in Newburyport, and we've saved the city probably $5,000 in different monuments. Flagpoles that we put in, the flagpoles that you see here now are part of that program. If you want to get a brick, just give my office a call. I also would like to extend a few thank yous. One of those thank yous is to the band. Steve, you guys come together every year. You put together a great show. You sound good. I appreciate all your efforts, and I'd like another minute. I'm so happy Senator DeZoglio honored the Scouts. I love it when the Scouts join us. Scouting is such an important activity. When I was younger, and many of us old geezers like me, we remember what the Scouting was like. And I think it's so important that people today get some taste of doing something that they may not want to do, and learn how to do a lot of things that they should learn how to do. Also would like to thank Rich Banks. Rich is a fellow who was choreographing us as we were ringing the bells out there, and he also, about a week ago, decided to power wash all the monuments. That's on his own. Just came in and power washed everything. The bells hang off granite bollards that Rich paid for. He also donated the bronze bells. I want to also thank the honor guards that are here. We have the Coast Guard Honor Guard over here. We have the Newburyport Police Honor Guard. And standing, yes, birthplace of the Coast Guard, Newburyport, and our Newburyport Police Honor Guard. As you look at them, the person standing on your left is Sergeant Howie Adams. And Sergeant Adams will be retiring from the Newburyport Police Department tomorrow after 28 years of service. Howie Adams. It doesn't sound like you arrested too many people, Howie. You know, I always like to thank the fire department and the police department, especially now because the police come under such terrible pressure in parts of the country today. And I want people to remember, you know, when I grew up, we didn't have 911. We had these people to respond if there was an emergency. You actually had to call the number. You didn't have 911. I want to just a special thanks to people, the fire department, the police department. They rush in when danger is there, and we are rushing out. They're the ones rushing in, please. I also want to mention for about 9 years now, and I haven't talked about this before, but I'm just going to briefly mention it. If you are a veteran over 80 years old, or if you know of a veteran who is over 80 years old, every second Tuesday of the month, we gather those veterans together, the ones that are over 80, and they can bring a guest up at the Hungry Traveler restaurant in Salisbury. And a local charity pays for that. And they get a meal. And the meal is a delicious meal. They get a choice of 3 different entrees. It's all paid for by the charity. And we've been doing this, like I said, for 9 years. We just did one this Tuesday. We got 35 of those guys. 4 or 5 of them are well into their 90s, One of them, Boots Chenard, I don't know if Boots is here, but you'll see his columns in the newspapers now and then, World War II veteran. And, the veterans, the definition of a veteran, I have one definition of a veteran. I don't care if you saw combat, I don't care if you served 20 years on Hawaii. If you raised your right hand and you swore that you would defend your country with your life, you're a veteran. That's as simple as that. You're willing to do that. And recently, we've had the newer veterans, meaning the young people who came aboard after 1991 when the perpetual Iraqi war got started. And I just ran into a fellow the other day, he's 72 years old, and he served in Iraq when he was 52. I thought that was kind of interesting. The thing that we all have to remember is that all wars, and I don't really believe there was a justifiable war, but all wars produce a lasting injury, shell shock, battle fatigue, a numbness. It has all sorts of names. It produces the warrior who tells no stories. We've all had the relative who never said a word about his service. It's not an uncommon condition if somebody's been in battle. And what we've all been through for the last year, you begin to wonder whether some of us are going through some kind of traumatic shock and starting to suffer a pandemic fatigue, a gnawing sense of desperation, and when will all this end? For all the veterans here, and there's a couple that I would like to single out before I move on. There's a gentleman sitting right in front of me here, Jack Bradshaw. And hi, Jack. By the amount of applause that came out, a lot of you probably know who Jack is, but I'm just going to briefly say that we would not have the beautiful city of Newburyport that we have today with the brick buildings beautifully restored instead of a strip mall without the foresight and the hard work of Jack Bradshaw, primarily Jack. Thank you, Jack, for what you've done for us. I'd like you all to remember one thing. There has never been a veteran who has started a war. Every war, though, has been ended by veterans. Interesting reversal. I'd like the band to play the Armed Forces medley for us. If you hear your particular branch of the Armed Forces mentioned, please salute. Thank you. Jerry? When you have a better day, you got a beautiful day like this, you've got live band music. I think it's a great day to be alive here. What we're going to do now, we have concluded what we will do in this part of the ceremony, and we're going to take a walk. And I hope all of you that are capable of walking will join us. We're going to go down Green Street, go around Market Square, up State Street, and walk down past the CVS. And that's going to take us down to the Veterans Cemetery. Thank you all for being able to do that. Thank God for the feet that we have and the ability to move. This is a solemn ground, the area that we're standing in now. Behind me, facing you, are 197 veterans buried here. This is an area of Old Hill Cemetery that was designated by the city a number of years ago. The first veteran that went in here was a gentleman by the name of Joe Rochette. He was our first Yankee homecoming chairman, and he was also the first town crier. They don't do that one anymore, but that was a part of Yankee homecoming. And Joe always said, you know, nobody's going to remember me. Well, Joe, every time we're down here every 6 months, we all remember you and thank you for your dedication to the city. Through a combination of a local charity, it's the same charity that does the lunches that we do at the Hungry Traveler, we were able to attach red roses to the front of all the headstones. If you get a chance to look at it, my special thanks to the local commander of the DAV, Larry Sostak, who came up with this idea and also assisted us in putting figuring out how we were going to do it and put those roses on. Really looked nice. This cemetery 15 years ago was called a disgrace by a group of people who monitored cemeteries. Primarily thanks to the efforts of one person, Glee Woodworth. She came in and she took a look at these headstones that were sloping. Some of the headstones were sloping so low that they faced the ground more than they faced forward. And Glee got together a group of volunteers, dug up those old headstones, and straightened them up. Since then, she has herself done over 1,500 headstones. I don't know if Glee's here with us, but I'd love a round of applause for her. Glee Woodworth. If you two guys would come forward, I'd appreciate it. Could you tell me your names, please?
Nathaniel Brown, Zeke Carrico.
I'm going to ask you to take this wreath here. Mayor, if you, where's the mayor? Is the mayor down here already? Oh, there she is. Hang on to that. Both of you guys. You're going to carry that wreath, and the mayor is going to go over here, and I'll walk over with you with the wreath. The mayor will be in front of the monument, and we'll go over there and we'll walk to you. We're going to have Captain John Eric Burkholt join us again. He will do the benediction. That will be followed by the band playing Amazing Grace, and that will be followed by taps. Shoot this way.
Hosea 2:4 says, "The Lord will mediate between nations and will settle international disputes. They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will no longer fight against nation nor train for war anymore." God is with us all the time, in the morning when joy bells chime, in the evening when lights are low. Our God is everywhere we go. In the memory of those who gave their last full measure, we thank you. We thank everyone here. Thank you all the veterans. May God bless everyone, and may God bless the United States of America. Amen.
Amen. Captain John Eric Burkholdt. Ladies and gentlemen, concludes Veterans Day Newburyport 2021. Thank you for coming out here. We will reassemble in 6 months. You can go home between now and then. It'll be Memorial Day. Hope to see you then. Thank you.